You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel to get ahead in business. All you have to do is just borrow somebody else's wheel. You see, every time you place an advertisement or other content on someone else's website or in their newsletter, you're leveraging someone else's assets. For example, your target market already congregates on Facebook, so you can leverage Facebook's assets by starting up a Facebook page or using their paid advertising option. However, what's even more powerful than paid advertising is to get the owner of a platform to directly or indirectly endorse you. When you have influential people with big audiences recommending your product and content, it can drive a lot of traffic and sales your way. So that's what this video is all about: how to find potential marketing partners and propose joint ventures, or JVs, to these folks. First off, let's start by talking about what a joint venture is. Basically, it's a mutually beneficial partnership. In other words, you both get something out of it, such as traffic, sales, content, or maybe something else. One example of a mutually beneficial arrangement is to do a webinar together on a topic. You both share in the act of creating content and promoting the event, meaning at the end of the venture, you'll both have a product to sell, and you'll also get free traffic from the promotions. Another example of a joint venture is to do a co-promotion. This is where I promote your product to my blog readers, newsletter subscribers, and social media followers, and then you do the same for me. We both get traffic and sales. It's a win-win. Let me give you yet another example here. Let's suppose we both sell physical products. You sell chocolate-covered bacon, and I sell caramel-covered bacon. I can create a flyer about my products that you include in all your shipments. Then you can do the same for me. This way we both get our offers in front of each other's customers, and we both get more sales. And unfortunately, now that I've talked about bacon, I'm hungry. I shouldn't have done that. Well, anyway, over the next few minutes, we're going to cover two important topics. The first one, you'll find out the right way to construct a joint venture. Second, you'll find out how to find and approach potential joint venture partners. So let's go ahead and get to it. The first thing you need to do is come up with a mutually beneficial arrangement for you and your potential joint venture partners. But here's the thing you need to know. While it should be mutually beneficial, it won't necessarily be equal. This is particularly true if your potential partner has more to bring to the table than you do. In that case, what you need to do is heavily tip the joint venture proposal in the other person's favor. And let me tell you why. Let's suppose you approach a potential JV partner about swapping endorsements in your respective newsletters. Let's further suppose you're just getting started with your mailing list, so you have just maybe 1,000 subscribers. Meanwhile, this other marketer has a list of 50,000 responsive prospects. Do you think he's going to go for your offer of just swapping endorsements? No, absolutely not. And that's because it's not a fair trade. It's not an attractive offer to him at all. He has no reason to accept such a lopsided joint venture. It'd be kind of like offering somebody a Prius in exchange for a Ferrari. So what you need to do is find a way to do joint ventures where your partner gets the better end of the deal. So maybe in this case you can't do co-endorsements since you don't yet have equal-sized mailing lists. So you better think of something else. One possibility would be to do a webinar together. You could offer to interview this marketer, for example. You'll both promote the webinar. Your partner gets 100% commissions on any seats he personally sells, plus you can split the back-end profits on whatever you two sell during the webinar. Now, since he has a bigger audience, you'll mobilize your affiliates to promote it so that your partner gets a lot of exposure. The benefit to you is free content, more traffic, new customers to add to your list, and of course, profits generated from sales of the webinar. Your partner is going to get free content, more traffic, profits from his sales of the live webinar, resale rights to the recording, and back-end sales from mentioning his own products within the webinar itself. You may even adjust the benefits a little bit to tip the deal even more in his favor. For example, you may give your partner all the profits from sales of the webinar seats, and then agree to further promote his products to the resulting mailing list so he gets even more exposure. Again, it all boils down to what each of you are able to bring to the table on any particular deal. The next thing you need to do is make it really easy for your potential partner to say yes to your JV deal. You want the JV deal to be super easy for your partner. You want them to have a lot of reward for very little work. Think about that for a second. Let's suppose I came up to you and asked you to dig a 5-foot deep by 25-foot long ditch for me. It's hot, like 110 in the shade. This is going to be back-breaking work because all I have to give you for tools is a shovel. And in exchange for your hard labor, I offered you the whopping sum of $1. So what would you do? Well, you'd probably laugh in my face, right? And I tell you what, If you try to make your partner do all the work with very little reward, he's going to laugh in your face too. You need to make it easy for him, really easy. A little work, a lot of reward. Just make it a no-brainer offer for them and you'll be fine. So let's go ahead and stick with this webinar example. In this case, you need to do all the legwork in getting it set up. This means you figure out what technological platform to use and you set it up. You create the sales page for the offer, you set up the payment system, set up the delivery system and the mailing list. You can even write ads for your partner to copy and paste when it comes time to promote. And you set up the affiliate program. In other words, you do all the work. So all your partner has to do is show up for the webinar. Again, the whole idea here is to tip the project in your partner's favor, especially if your partner has more assets than you, such as a bigger audience and a better reputation in the niche. All right, so that's how you construct a JV deal. The next logical question is, where do you find prospective joint venture partners? If you have your finger on the pulse of your niche, you should already have a pretty good sense of who the big players are. You know who puts out the top products. You know who the ones are that have the big mailing list and the ones who have the well-trafficked blogs. You know who owns the busy forums and also the ones with a lot of social media followers. First, you want to make a list of all these folks, as these are going to be your potential partners. Secondly, go out and search for the rest of the players. You can do this by running a Google search for your top keywords to see who holds the top sites and has the top blogs. Next, you can take a note of who's placing ads in your niche via Google AdWords, as well as ads on niche sites. And fourth, you don't want to forget to look offline. You can check out offline publications to see who's placing the ads, as well as looking at who owns the related brick-and-mortar businesses in your neighborhood or beyond. Next, you can go to places like Amazon.com, ClickBank.com, and JVZoo.com to see who owns the top products. People with best-selling products are your potential partners. You can also check out marketplaces like Apple's App Store and Google Play. Another thing you can do is poll your market to learn more about the products and business owners that they like to do business with. Still, another way to find good partners is to seek out the super affiliates in your niche. You can sometimes find these folks by kind of spying. You don't even need a magnifying glass, a decoder ring, or a hidden camera for this job. Instead, you do it by joining other people's affiliate programs and seeing who wins the affiliate contests. And don't forget that the people who own the affiliate programs are also potential joint venture marketing partners. Additionally, you can find prospective partners by going to Facebook and searching for your niche keywords, which is going to help you uncover the busy pages and groups which cater to your target market. Yet another way to find partners is to just think outside the box regarding experts in your niche. These folks aren't necessarily business owners, but they are experts. This might be a college professor who wrote a book, or maybe even a newspaper columnist. Okay, so once you've compiled a big list of prospective partners, your next step is to do some due diligence on the folks who you don't recognize. Remember, it's your name that's going to be associated with them, so you want to make sure they have good reputations in the market. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to hitch your wagon to the Charles Manson of your niche, okay? So run a search in Google for their names, their business names, their products, all these things, to be sure they don't have a pattern of complaints or allegations against them. Okay. Now that you have your short list of prospective JV partners, the next thing you need to do is start contacting them. And here's a hint that will get you a better working relationship and a lot more yes answers. Build relationships and help these folks before you propose your joint venture. At the very least, get on their radar so they recognize your name. Here's a quick list of ways to get on their radar and start building those relationships. Make money for them by joining their affiliate programs and promoting their products. If they own a discussion community such as a blog, a forum, Skype group, Facebook group, or something similar, go ahead and join this community and post thoughtfully to the discussions. Go to offline workshops, trade shows, and similar events to network in person. You can network on social media by befriending them and starting a dialogue. Post about their products on social media and tag them. If you have a blog, blog positively about them and their products, using trackbacks to their blogs if possible. Okay, you get the idea? Just find an opening into their world, one where you don't have to get past a gatekeeper such as a customer service rep or virtual assistant, and just start building relationships. Be a genuine friend, and then seek out ways that you can help them. Again, it's easier to get a yes on a joint venture with someone who knows who you are. However, if you create a good proposal, then you can approach cold prospective partners too and get some positive replies that way. So what is the key to a good proposal? Well, just think about it like a job application. If you applied for a job at the local McDonald's, you'd tell your prospective boss why you're the best burger flipper in the whole wide world, right? You'd let them know that frying and salting French fries is part of your skill set. You'd try to impress them with your mad change counting skills. In other words, you'd tell your prospective employer why they should hire you as their next star burger flipper, right? The same thing applies here. It's all about telling your prospective partners what's in it for them if they work for you. What benefits do they get? Do they get traffic, exposure, more sales, more subscribers? Do they get their name associated with other big names in the niche? Maybe free content. Maybe even a bottomless basket of chocolate-covered bacon. You get the idea. Figure out all the benefits they get and then write a proposal that focuses on these benefits. And remember, crafting a JV deal that's tipped heavily in your partner's favor is going to get you a lot more yes responses. Here's one more little secret that's based on a psychological trigger, and I really like this one. Sometimes a good way to approach a JV deal is to start off with a small, fast, and incredibly easy deal. Then, later, you can hit them up with a bigger proposal. For example, tell your partners you'd like to compile a list of tips, and if they could send you their best tip of one paragraph or less, you'll include it in your report or blog, along with a link back to their site. They get free traffic in exchange for 1 or 2 minutes of their time. Super easy, right? Your partner will spend like 5 minutes whipping out a tip. Now you just generated goodwill by giving them a lot of reward for not much effort. You also just triggered the psychological feelings of commitment and consistency. What does this mean? It means the next time you come knocking on their door for a joint venture, they'll say yes because they want to be consistent with their previous actions. Plus, the last JV deal was a good deal for them, so they'll say yes because they had a good experience with you the last time. In short, just get your foot in the door with an easy, fast deal first. Then later you can hit up these same partners with bigger joint venture proposals. Trust me, this totally works. But one warning, this is an incredibly powerful psychological trigger, so use these superpowers for good rather than evil. Okay? See you at the top. And I'll see you in the next video where I'll clue you in on JV deals done right.